What's going on, guys? What's going on? How's everybody doing today?
Good
Welcome
now,
back to
good
another
now.
live stream. What's going on, Connor? Welcome,
I'm good
welcome.
now yourself.
I'm doing great. I'm actually going to put my headphones on. That way I can hear you better. What's going on, Miles? How you doing? How you doing?
Yeah.
I use Anchor. Awesome. Awesome. So, in today's live stream, we are going to be talking about starting a podcast. So I hope you guys came prepared. If you guys want to take notes or ask us questions and things like that, I'm going to be learning a lot of this stuff myself here today. As you guys know, I want to start a podcast of my own. So this is going to be a lot of fun. So make sure you guys ask questions and, um, you
Yeah,
know, uh,
I'll be happy to answer wherever I can, anyways.
Exactly. And interact with us in the chat. Don't be quiet as you guys are in most streams. I see you guys. I see you guys. All right.
Lucky.
Listen. It's kind of like a lot of people say. Uh, you know, uh, One creator that I know says it. I see you guys lurking, aka words of Viper. But I'm just saying. um, so.
Yeah.
Conor, where do you want to start off?
So I suppose the first thing when it comes to a podcast is you have to know what you want to make a podcast about. It could be a podcast about anything. So say you have an interest in model planes. You could make a podcast about model planes. Heck, we even made a podcast about model trains as a joke. Now, the primary mainline podcast for the TechWiz network is the TechCast podcast. Now, a big thing about this is your branding. What will your podcast be called? So, what would you think if you saw a podcast with the same name as every other podcast in its field? Would you think it's original? Would you want to click on it? No, you wouldn't. As much. So one thing you really have to be weary of is to know, yes, okay, we're going to come up with a catchy name, a brand, something people can recognize as something catchy. And TechCast was that for me. Don't do I did though. TechCast is quite a common name, I figured out in the end. And yeah, so once you have that, you can put together your little cover image, your square cover image. It could be anything to represent your podcast, the logo, so to speak. And then you need to think about, where am I going to host my platform, my podcast? What podcast platform am I going to host it? So the biggest platform and the easiest platform to use is Anchor, which I'll be showing you how to use in this stream. Now, there are other ways of doing this. There's Buzzsprout, which is, and Spreaker, which are great platforms, although they are paid platforms. You have to pay for them to distribute your podcast. Anchor is a free podcasting platform, which it makes it amazing for first-time podcasters. Do we have any questions first before we jump into the Anchor portion of this? And I'll show you how to set up a podcast on Anchor.
Let us know, guys. Let us know.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, this is going to be the first time for me too, and it's going to be very interesting. I know that me and Connor have had separate conversations off of stream regarding starting the podcast, and
For
so
sure.
today is going to be a lot deeper and a lot better. So I can't wait to see what Connor has in store for us.
I've got some interesting demos in store. So I've been using it for 3 to 4 years now, Miles says. Yeah, it's a great platform. I started TechCast in, we'll be actually able to see that now when I load up this, but I think it's going on 2 years now, 3 years.
Oh, wow.
So it's ever since we started getting rumors of the first rumors of the second gen iPhone SE.
Yep.
That's how long it's been.
Wow.
So 2018. So quite a long time ago now.
That's awesome.
So I suppose we'll go on to the Anchor portion of this. Now, there will also be an Apple Podcast Connect portion of this. Now, what Anchor Podcast Connect is it'll allow you to see your analytics for the Apple side of things, you know? So how many people looked at your podcast on an iPhone or that kind of thing. Oh. And those analytics aren't in Anchor, which is a big reason why I will be going through that. So I suppose we'll go on to the Anchor portion. Recording audio separately from video. If you do both during live stream, pre-recorded video, and want to turn it into a podcast. Yes, that's a very good way of doing it. And actually, that's how I do TechCast. So we have a video podcast as well as an audio podcast. So we take the audio.
Right.
We take the audio from our feeds of video, and as well as exporting the video, we export the audio separately so we can balance it out. That's a very good point, Michael.
Shout out to you, Michael. What's up, man? Go ahead.
Yeah. Did you want to jump in there with anything before we head off to the Anchor portion of this?
No. You can go ahead and...
Perfect. So Anchor was recently bought out by Spotify. So you should be seeing my screen there.
Yep.
Perfect. So
nice and clear. Wow.
This is the TechCast dashboard. So on Anchor, you'll set up an account. It'll walk you through the different steps. So we're actually going to set up a podcast right now.
Michael is asking, is there a best bitrate quality to record in?
Generally, with Anchor, the best video format or audio quality format is the highest one you can do. Now, what makes Anchor so special, and I'm going to demo this now, is you can record your podcast in the app and edit it in the app and do it all from the app. So you don't actually need to know how to audio engineer or nothing. You can do it all from your smartphone. And that's what I did for the first 2 years of TechCast.
Wow, that's awesome.
So, yeah, that is really interesting for that. But generally, the best bit rate is whatever you can do, you know. I actually don't record at a high bit rate myself. I actually use my iPhone still to record the audio.
And I'm sure a lot of people will probably ask this, but you don't need to pay for anything to start.
You don't need to pay for
it.
This is the beauty of Anchor. You don't need to pay with Anchor. It's all free. But if you were to go for something, say like Spreaker or Buzzsprout, you would have to pay to upload your podcast. So this makes it really handy to get it. And you can monetize your podcast, which I'll go through. If you're based in the US, that is.
So wait, you don't do it out of the US?
No, that's my issue.
Damn, bro.
Yeah, another reason to move out of Ireland.
Yeah, just come to the United States.
Yeah, I might be able to get myself an MBT times dive tap card as while I'm at it.
Yeah. How is that going? I know that we talked about that.
What do you mean? How's that going?
Because I know you were searching for a way to get one and stuff.
Yeah, I'm still on the lookout. I'll figure out a way. I might just order the website.
If I know you always figure out a way. So.
Oh yeah, I'll always find a way. That's no issue at all. So it's not. Oh, I'm just noticing there's significant lag on my end. That might just be me. All right. Right. So this is the TechCast dashboard. Now, when you set up your podcast at first, it'll walk you through all the steps. So it's not like you're going to be thrown in at the deep end. Anchor walks you through all the steps necessary to set up a podcast. So when you have your podcast all set up, and you can have a very basic dashboard or a complicated one. It depends on what you want to do. So you have your name, TechCast in my case. You have your little description of what the podcast actually is. And you can tell people to give it a rating or whatever it is if you want to. You can share it with these links. Or you can click the available feeds and platforms. This will give you a link to every single platform that your podcast is on, and it uploads to every single podcast platform. So if you upload to Anchor, you don't have to worry about having to do anything yourself. How does Anchor make money? If it's free, do they run ads? So Anchor is owned by Spotify, and that's how they can make money. So Spotify is the parent company, and when you go and you start up your podcast and you run ads, they don't run ads on any podcast that isn't monetized. So you can put ads in your podcast even if it's not monetized, and in the future, as soon as you get monetized, those ads will be there. So you don't have to worry about anything ads wise. If you don't want ads on your podcast, they're not going to be there. And Spotify handles all the payments, and that's how they get money for it. Does that answer your question, Michael?
Interesting stuff.
Yeah, it is. So here we go now. This is another interesting part. This is something that a lot of people might not understand with Anchor. These are your analytics.
Ooh, okay.
So all time, if we go to all time, so from the 5th to the 30th, 2019, that's when I started the podcast apparently, I got 14 plays. And you can go through and, this is similar to YouTube. You can see when people looked at your podcast and how many plays. And you see there was a massive spike on this day. This was the day that I uploaded the iPhone SE 2 confirmation podcast and 2 more. So that's why that got so many plays on that day. Obviously, as your podcast grows, you'll be able to see more. And then, of course, Peter's off. And then, of course, we get there. And we had 44 plays on that day, 49, etc., etc. You can then go down and you can see all your top episodes. So the most popular episodes on your thing, you can see it. So say my most popular episode was uploaded on August 15th, and that was with Jock and Dallas, Nothing But Tech, and it has 79 plays. If you notice an issue with an upload and have to fix it, do you have to re-upload it? No, you don't. So the way that works is, if it's just something you have to cut out, so say a bit of audio you want to cut out, you can just cut that out inside the app, and I'll demonstrate that. And you don't lose any plays, you don't lose anything like that. You can actually add bits of audio in after the fact, and you can take out bits of audio and music. So you're actually not going to lose anything.
Oh, that's great.
If you have to re-upload it though, you do lose the plays, and it pushes it out to everyone again, similar to a YouTube video.
Hey, what's up, technology? What's going on?
Yeah. So now you can see as well which are the most dominant platforms for podcasts people are listening to you on, and which countries people are listening to you on. So say I wanted to see in the United States. Where exactly in the United States are my listeners coming from? Well, it's actually quite easy. You can actually look and see exactly where your audience is coming from. So, say my most popular audience is coming from Ohio. I can go there and it'll tell you the exact area in Ohio that your audience is coming from, which is really interesting. Now, say you want to see what devices people are listening to on because you want to like cater your podcast towards more people. Go
Michael
here.
says,
Oh, yeah.
Michael said, sounds like YouTube could learn from this. Would love to be able to do more edits in browser.
Yeah, YouTube could definitely learn a lot about this because it is significantly better than YouTube editing. It is significantly better. Yeah.
This makes me want to open up my own podcast so bad. Like I
Honestly,
can't
it's
wait.
not a bad thing to do.
And
And you
I've
can see
always said
there.
it, like,
What?
you know, I've always said this, like, I feel like there's a lot of people who, and, you know, maybe you'll agree, but I feel like there's a lot of people who will jump on a podcast, and I see, and you see it in the comments
Yeah.
all the time. You know, I'm driving, but I'm listening. You know, like
Yeah.
a lot of people will say it. So having this, you know, so people, because there are people out there who, actually, I want to come back up here.
Yeah, go
So,
ahead.
you know, there are a lot of people who are driving or on the go, you know, even at the gym, listening to the, um, you know, to the stream. So to have that, you know, a second layer of listening to you in podcast form would be better because, you know, there are a lot of people out there and, you know, different countries, different places have different, you know, subscriptions and stuff. You know,
Yeah,
for someone like me, I don't have to pay to. I have unlimited data, you know, but people don't have
for
that.
sure.
You know, that there's a lot of
Yeah.
companies that don't have that. So, you know, when you're on YouTube and you're outside on the go, you you're gonna pay for being on YouTube. And from what from what I've experienced with other um, companies that I've had to pay a lot more just because I was on YouTube. So to
Yeah.
have this, from what I understand, you don't need to pay. It doesn't
Nope, you
mess
don't.
around with your data.
And
So,
then if you decide you
you
don't want
know,
to do it anymore, you don't have
ex-
you've not lost any money.
exactly, exactly. So,
Yeah.
you know, it's kind of a win-win if you ask me.
Yeah.
Um,
So Michael's asking, how long do new uploads take
mhm.
to process before being made available to listen to? Now, that's a tricky one because with Anchor, it'll push the upload to Spotify first. And it depends on, how high quality the bit rate is that you're uploading and that kind of thing.
Yep.
But generally, a good estimate is an hour to
Oh,
push it to everyone, an hour to a day after it's processes.
right.
So it takes some time, but Apple Podcasts will always be the last one to get it for whatever reason. My
Yeah. My podcast is doing so good until my friend got busy and can't do it anymore. That stinks, man. But I,
interesting fact, actually, yeah, it does help to have a co-host on a podcast.
mhm.
But I did TechCast solo for 3 years before I
Oh
got a
wow.
co-host. Yeah, so it's definitely doable, but it takes a
Yeah.
bit more work.
Yeah, it does take a bit more work, you know, and you have to know what you want to talk about and stuff like that.
Mm.
You know, obviously it is a great thing to have a co-host to
Mm.
have more of a more deep conversation about
Yeah.
the subject that you're talking about. But you can do a lot of streams by yourself. Heck, I did a lot of
Mhm.
streams by myself. Um, you know,
Yeah.
many times. Obviously, you know, things, you know, I would do just one subject per stream or two subject, and I would
Mhm.
get through it, you know, really quick. because I was alone. But having that person there does help. But
Yeah,
nonetheless, you can do it by yourself, and you just have to know how to go about it,
for
and
sure.
not be as quick about it. Just take your time,
Yeah,
you know, and have fun. That's basically the gist of it.
for sure. Nice not to
Uh,
have to upload every single podcast service individually. The Anchor can handle it, and you're going to start looking into a podcast. That's great because podcast is great to deep into different topics,
and
and
and I
yeah,
mean,
you can manually.
going back to
Oh,
what I
sorry.
said earlier, you know, um, having that extra thing for people to go back to and listen to is always awesome. I mean, for the longest time, I would go to the gym and I would listen to music, and that's how I would spend time at the gym. Nowadays, I go to the gym and I'm listening to a podcast.
Yeah,
And for the longest time, it was actually Connor's podcast.
well, that's.
So
I'm glad to hear that.
I listen. Like, I would listen to a lot more of your podcast than anybody else for the longest time. I thought
Trust
you
me,
were.
there's much better podcasts out there.
Oh no, no.
Don't
I
put yourself
mean,
through listening to mine.
well, no. It's not only that, dude. But like you have a way of doing it, in such a short time.
Yeah,
There's so many, and I have nothing to say about long podcasts.
for
I
sure.
love to listen to that, but yours is
Yeah.
like, it was the time I would get to the gym, put your podcast on. By the time I was leaving, it was over.
Oh yeah, I don't like going over the hour mark. That's not
Yeah,
good. Is
yeah,
there a general rule for minimum and maximum podcast length? This is a difficult question. I've listened to podcasts that are 7 hours long, and I listen to my favorite podcast every single week, The Digital Dive, that's 30 minutes long to 40 minutes. So it really does depend on what your topics are. You can literally upload a 24-hour podcast, but will people
yeah,
listen to that? Your general
yeah.
rule is probably 2 hours max. That's probably the maximum you should upload. I don't like podcasts over 20 minutes. That's fair enough. It definitely, takes a bit out of you. And
Yeah,
especially the editing. It
yeah.
The shorter they are, I like them shorter. Because
That
I run the whole network and the podcast separately myself, so it gets difficult sometimes. Yeah.
Oh, it definitely does. It
Will I show
definitely
a bit
does.
on how I edit the podcasts?
You haven't yet, no.
Yeah, so you know what? No, I'm not going to go into the fancy into the Adobe suite because that's not a good idea to confuse people. But I'll go with the Anchor
Oh,
one
okay.
since since Adobe Audition is not ideal for first time users. So when you go up here, of course, you'll have your episodes. So all there, you can see how many people have listened to them. And we're going to click new episode. Now, we're going to go here and we're going to find just a regular audio clip from an episode. It's just loading. Where's the podcast section? There we go. TechCast. And I'm just going to find a random episode here. Hopefully I don't leak anything. This should be fine. So this was one episode. So when I upload this, you'll see it uploads. Now it'll also appear in my library. So when you have an episode stuff in, you can always refer back to an older episode, which is handy.
Ooh,
So
that's
that
awesome.
needs process. And one of the handy features is you can click the three dots, or, well, you can click. You have to wait until this finishes. You can rename it. So say test. And this will obviously take a bit depending on this. I think this podcast length was 30 minutes.
Oh,
So, yeah, we'll
so
just, for now, we'll just say, okay, for example, you have that in, it does all its thing, you know.
right.
Take, for example, it's all processed. You can go in here and you can click edit audio. Now, this is where you can go in and you can click the plus and minus button to zoom in and out. What you can do is you can take your thing, say there, we want to cut. Yeah, sorry about this now. Actually, I haven't used the web editor in a while. Yeah.
Michael says, I think that I would use a podcast to be for a longer discussion and I could give my videos, send people to the podcast for additional detail on each topic. Yeah.
That's pretty much the point of a podcast. There we go. Sorry, I haven't been using this for a while now. So all you have to do is click there and drag. So see, you have this now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you click there. And it's obviously easier on an iPad or a phone if you can actually do it on that. We have your cuts. And in that cut, you can delete footage. So say you have all your audio cut, you can click there. So you can split into multiples. So say you want to put an ad in the middle of it, you can do that. So we're going to click save as multiple segments, just to be safe. Say that. And then it's going to process.
Oh.
Then we're going to add, just for the sake of argument, we're just going to add this just to speed up things. You can add music to it. And yeah, so there's a lot that you can do with it. And then you just need to publish it. And that's it.
That's great.
Can you take over for a minute there? I just need to do something quick.
Sure. So, what do you guys think so far? I think this is really awesome and just, you know, a great way, like I said, to expand the channel. You know, if you're a new creator such as myself, you know, expand the channel and just have that second layer, like I was saying, of, you know, another way that people can hear your stream or whatever you want to do, or, you know, even a podcast, having that second thing to communicate with people and have them listen to you even longer, you know? Let's see, perhaps for focus on one aspect, when I have a video that's quick, summarizes of 10 different things, podcast would be a deeper focus on one or a few of those topics. I'm fairly yes, you are, Michael. Yes, you are. And yeah, I think that that's a great point.
Yeah.
You know, I think breaking down things, you know, like that would be awesome, and you know, just a better way for people to understand the different topics that you like to talk about. So
For sure.
definitely.
Yeah. So will I go through what it takes to publish an episode?
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah. Man, listen, I'm here for it all. I you know.
Yeah.
A lot
of people. Sure. So once you have all of it done, you know, you have your bits cut and you can, you know, you can rearrange and you can do whatever you want. You can add your music in, plenty of royalty-free music. You can add audience messages, that kind of thing, you know. Transitions. You can click save episode. Now I'm going to save this as a draft, obviously, because I'm not going to publish this to everyone. Say, I don't know, we're going to call this test. You can name your episode. You can put a description in there. So say, I don't know, your socials, that kind of thing. You can set it to publish on a specific day or schedule it. you can actually upload specific art to different episodes to say it's a new season. You can upload an updated podcast art, that kind of thing.
Oh,
It's a
okay.
good idea to put the season number and the episode number in this because
Right.
it'll show up, as a new episode. And then obviously when you're done that, you'll click publish now. I'll click save draft and then just fill that in for the sake of it. Test. And that's it. You'll get a notification then when all your stuff is done.
Podcasting. Go ahead.
No, podcasting also forces you to become a better storyteller and to become more descriptive since you don't have a visual aspect. Mutually beneficial. Yes, and storytelling is actually a critical part of all content creation, not just podcasting, not just video. All content is storytelling based.
Yeah. Definitely agree. Conor, thank you so much for
yeah. If I can answer any more questions, feel free to leave them and I'll do whatever I can.
Yeah, definitely. Now when it comes to and I think I know the answer to this, but when it comes to music and stuff, you have to be careful of what you're choosing
for sure,
it not to be copyrighted, right?
Yeah. And so long as you only use something up to 30 seconds, and the beauty of this is with Anchor, so we can go here and say now if I go back into my test episode, because that's what we're using to do this, we're going to go into episodes, we're going to go into test just for the sake of it. Edit audio. And that's a great example of how you can edit the audio after the fact. So I can go here, I can remove that. Lessons you have, lessons/mistakes you made. Exactly. So add songs from Spotify. So it'll tell you here. So it'll include the songs, but only when you're in Spotify. When only on Spotify it'll include the music. So I'm not going to do that. So it's built into the application. So you don't need to worry about it. Yeah.
That's great.
And just like Michael was asking there, I made a change, and theoretically, it'll just be there now. Anyone who clicks on the episode will just see that change. They won't know the original was there.
Michael's asking
lessons I've learned / mistakes I've made. All right, sorry. So lessons I've learned is you don't need a co-host, but it does help. It helps to have a social media presence. So make an account, say, for your podcast on Twitter. We have a TechCast Twitter. Try not to leave huge gaps in the episode. So if there's huge pauses, make sure to cut them out because it's the listener will skip over it or leave the podcast. Try have good audio, because if you don't have good audio, people won't listen to it. It'll be horrible for the listener. Right. I've listened to podcasts and my own podcast that just didn't have the audio. And in general, just have fun with it. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Definitely. And it's kind of like, a YouTube video. You got to make sure that, you're
having a schedule definitely does help, Miles. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
And I'll say the same for YouTube, especially with the network. I've built a schedule and I've stuck with that, and I'm so happy with that.
That's awesome. Excuse me. Like I was saying, it's like uploading a video. You got to make sure that the visual's good, that the audio's good.
Yeah.
Because then people
are not with the podcast.
Stay long or stay at all. So
yeah, exactly.
It helps.
So, yeah, I mean, if I were to go here and I'll show you one of my more recent projects if you like for the podcast.
Sure.
Considering the fact that I've upped the game a bit when it comes to my podcast,
Yep.
this is sort of where I'm heading now. If I go here, just initializing it, you can get really advanced with it if you want to. You know, it's not a case of doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. Yes. Okay. But yeah, so essentially, what? Cancel. Sorry about this. Tracks 1, 2. But yeah, by the way, I'm planning to return to my career interview students. I'd love to have you on. For sure, reach out to me on Twitter and I'd love to come on. I'm always more than willing to go on other people's channels.
This actually,
Yeah.
Connor, you have to, Michael, do you have the older episodes still on that? Because I think
Yeah,
that Connor, you should check him out if he does.
I will, yeah,
I've been
for
on
sure.
it, and it was the most fun I've ever had. And he's actually had a lot of great creators on it, so I definitely
Yeah, I'll
recommend
be
it.
sure to check him out. I'm interested to see his stuff. So I am. Yeah.
Definitely recommended.
This is what I was talking. Oh, okay. I don't know what I did there, but I did a waveform. Right. So yes, they're all perfect. I'll check them out later while I'm on my cycle into work. Yeah, because that'll be interesting. But yeah, this is essentially what goes into the podcast. So I had my pre-roll there, so it wasn't essentially an ad. It wasn't sponsored, but I did an ad for NBT times Dive Tap because I was interested in it and I wanted more people to know about it.
Before this episode begins,
So
I want to
you can see
congratulate
that.
Jackson Dallison.
I have all my logic files. So essentially, you can get really complicated with it if you want, but you don't have to. This is purely just because I want to do it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, don't. That's another thing. Like, don't stress yourself out about it.
No.
You know, make sure that you study everything. You know that there is to know, and that you know that you're comfortable doing it. You know, and go from there. You know, just have, like I said, just have fun.
I'm always willing to give a hand as well. So if you're struggling with anything or whatever, just drop me a tweet, mention on Twitter, and I'll get back to you.
Definitely,
Hopefully I can help.
This is one thing I've said to you, Connor. You know, especially helping me all this time. Connor is one of those amazing creators who is always willing to help. And I myself, you know, depending on the subject, I do help my a lot of people as well. There's a playlist of them on my channel. Awesome.
Perfect.
You know, so like I was saying, you know, always reach out, you know,
For
no matter what. You know, there's always somebody that will help you in any way.
Oh yeah, there is.
You know, so don't be afraid of reaching out.
Oh yeah, that's definitely great advice. And when it comes to podcasting as well, you might see, okay, I had Jacqueline knowing about tech on my podcast. Trust me, when I reached out, I did not expect a response. But it's all about shooting your shot and just going for it. You can't go wrong with trying. Just going for it. But you can go wrong by just not bothering to try.
Exactly.
So even if you don't think you'll get a response, reach out because you don't know.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, listen, I've said this before. I've always, when I did my Saturday morning sit downs, you know, there were a lot of older creators who I thought, you know, I'm going to reach out to them, but they're not going to respond. And they actually ended up responding. So, you know, take that chance. Take that chance and, you know, message them, tweet out to them. You know, it may take a while keep in mind that especially if you're reaching out to a bigger creator, it may take a while, but they will get back to you. I've said this off stream to Conor.
For
I
sure.
reached out to Taylors of Tech one time because I wanted to have him on stream, and it was amazing. He actually did get back to me. It was a little bit late, it was like 4 or 5 months later, but he did reach out to me. It was funny because I was deleting all my messages on Twitter because I was loaded and I couldn't find anything that I wanted to. And
For sure.
as soon as I went to his, I actually got a message that second, and I'm like, wow, that was amazing. So, like I said, it may take a week, may take a month, may take a year. But, if that creator wants to do it and is willing to, which a lot of, if not most of these creators are, it will take time, but they will get to you.
For sure they will.
Don't lose hope. Don't lose hope.
Definitely. There's hope out there.
What's going on, Tech YT Needs? Welcome to the stream, man. Is there anything else you would like to talk about, or?
That's all the basics of podcasting. And yeah, that's pretty much all you need to know getting started anyways.
Right. I'll definitely keep this up for you guys and for myself, because I'll definitely be coming back here and learning a thing or two.
I might be uploading a podcast tutorial onto TechWiz Productions one of these days anyways.
Oh,
it might come in handy for a lot of people.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, hey, maybe this is another video idea that you could do. This definitely helps out a lot of people.
I'm at the bottom of the barrel searching for video ideas because I filmed 20 in one day, one of the days last week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
man. You keep yourself busy for sure.
Oh, yeah. Edited them all in the next day as well, so.
Right, exactly.
That's why that thing over there has to go.
Now, one question that I do have for you that I should have asked before is there any recommendation that you have as far as microphones go and stuff like that when it comes to really picking and choosing your audio?
That's an interesting one because, to be honest, my podcast is a very low budget podcast. I record all my audio off this.
Oh.
All my audio goes through this. That's where all the audio comes from.
Wow.
With the stereo microphones on the iPhone 11 Pro. And then I edit the audio on my iPhone or my laptop, depending on where I am. If I'm traveling, it'll all go through my iPhone. The entire podcast is run off my iPhone. Now, when we do the video podcast, I use my Rode mic connected to my camera to capture the audio. But if you're looking for a nice few budget microphones to get started, say you want to step up from the smartphone, the Rode NT USB Mini is a really nice little one. I believe Jacqueline from 9 Tech, 6 years ago, she did an unboxing of the Rode NT USB microphone, the original, but she used that for her podcast, The Digital Dive, right up until maybe start this year. So it really is impressive. Yeah.
And
do I use any particular app on my iPhone? No, I just use the voice memos app and then import it into Anchor.
Wow.
Or Audition or whatever I'm doing. So it's actually a really simple process. But yeah, it's really just getting the ball rolling. That's all it is. Another really nice microphone if you're really, really, really looking for the best of the best. The Rode Pod mic and the Rodecaster or the Shure SM7B. Probably you can never go wrong with those.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And even if you're looking for a cheap microphone, I have this one right here. I mean, I can't
Behringer.
really show it to you. It's called the Mauno. It's I can get you guys the
Yeah.
link of it. I think I paid. Let me go on Amazon and find
Behringer
it.
is another company. They sell a microphone just like yours. They do
So
good
let's
value.
see. I'm sorry.
Behringer. It's the one that Talos of Tech uses. It's good
Ah,
quality. You can always use an external recorder as well, like the Zoom H2 Handycam or something.
right. So I think this is mine right here. I will drop the link in the chat for you guys to check out. And this is like a really low budget thing, but honestly, I think it is amazing. I don't know why it like sent like 1600. It looks like. Oh no.
Yeah.
So
Samsung Q2U is a good inexpensive mic. That's what El Jeffer used for a long time. I haven't heard of that one now, but it looks really good from what I've heard. Sounds good if
wow.
he's used it.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so even stuff like this, like I said, this didn't really cost me that much,
No, no.
and a lot of people say it sounds good. So,
Trust me, the setup I'm using at the moment is completely overkill. You do not need what I'm doing at the moment.
oh gee, I can just imagine. What are you using, if you don't mind me asking?
So at the moment, I'm using the microphone built into my laptop. And for the webcam, I'm using my Canon EOS 700D
Oh,
connected
okay.
up to its 10 to 50 mil lens and just a regular IKEA lamp.
Wow, that's great. That's great. See, and that's
Completely
another
overkill.
thing. Yeah, listen, whatever works. But
Yeah.
that's another thing. You don't have to go out and buy
No, no,
expensive
no.
200, 300,
No, no.
$400 things.
Yeah.
There are really low budget things that work just as well.
Trust me.
And
The it took me 6 years to build
wow,
up the equipment I have now. Last year, it was my 5th year creating content. TechWiz Tech turns 10 years this year, but yeah, it took me 6 years to finally just take the plunge and invest in good lenses and just a good body in general and a good microphone. I was using my iPhone up until then.
wow.
I've been using the Rode Wireless Go 2 for live streams that are very expensive. The Rode Wireless 2 is a very good lav mic if you can afford it. Very good. Probably the best of the best in the affordable lavs.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
awesome. So if you guys have more questions, drop them in the chat. I want to thank you guys for coming on and learning about podcasting. I think this is a really
For sure.
informative, very needed stream that I really didn't see a lot of people do. So
Yeah.
I wanted to do it not only for myself but for you guys who want to start stream, a podcast. Even if you want to turn your streams into podcasts, that's something that I actually want to do as well, is turning my
For
streams
sure.
into podcasts. Because like I said, it's it's another way of growing your channel, making people know that you have a channel, and another way of connecting with people. So it's always an
For
awesome
sure.
thing. I
It is
mean, like I
really
said,
great.
like I said, when I'm on the go, I'm constantly listening to podcasts. So, um, so with that being said, guys, if you guys do not have any more questions, we're going to be heading off here. Again, thank you, Conor, for taking the time and teaching
Yeah, no
us
problem.
about podcasts. Really appreciate you, man. If you guys
Happy
are
anytime.
not, if you guys are not subscribed to Conor, then what the heck are you guys thinking? Because this guy
I'm not the
is
best of the best, so I'm
really.
not.
Hey, listen, I give credit where credit is due, and listen,
Yeah.
man, your videos are amazing. Keep doing what you do. Don't ever give up.
Trust
That's
me, with the next step in what TechWiz Tech is going through, it's big. It's big. Very, very big.
Michael Pepper says I went overkill for sure. AKG P120 mic, Scarlett Solo 2i2 Gen 3 audio interface, and a high quality
That
XLR
is a
cable.
dope. Yeah, that is
Damn,
a dope setup though.
that's
A6100 is a really good camera still. I was thinking of picking
wow.
up one as a B cam because I want to start doing more multicam stuff, and the iPhone just isn't cutting it at this point for the
Mm.
mainline TechWiz Tech. So
I
why not?
definitely, I definitely want to switch to an actual camera for
Yeah.
videos and streams because doing it on my phone is just it's awful sometimes.
Yeah.
Now I know that I should have forever um, disconnected the connectivity so I wouldn't get interruptions like phone calls
Yeah.
and stuff. Because I swear, man, when I'm off streams and just relaxing and stuff, nobody calls me, nobody texts me. As soon as I'm doing something important, people call me, people text me, and it's just like, come on, really? Like people know when I'm busy. I swear to God.
Yeah, I don't call people now. That's the thing.
No, yeah. I wish people didn't call me, but and half the
Hey, you
time
know what?
it's
You're doing better than me if people are willing to call you.
listen, and half the time, the sad part is half the time people are not calling to talk to me. People are always calling to talk to my mom, but they know I'm always willing to answer the phone, so they call me. So
That's the typical trick. Was gifted a Sony 30
listen, I,
f4 lens.
I don't want to talk
Mm.
crap about my family, but it's
That's
funny.
fair.
Half the time, I don't want to talk crap about my family. I
Yeah.
love all my family and my friends, but half the time, people call me and it's like, "Hey, where's mom?" And it's like, "I'm good. How are you?"
Yeah.
It's like if you're gonna call me, at least ask how I'm doing before asking for somebody else.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah. Michael says he was gifted a 30mm f1.4 lens, but needed the 16mm for the limited space. The 30mm has to be 5 to 6 feet. Yeah, I feel yeah. I have a 75mm that I love using for videos because of the bokeh I get out of it.
Right.
But my God, the amount of hassle it gives me. The all the autofocus, you can hear the autofocusing, and it's just not the move. The 30mm f4 though, f1.4, that is probably one of the peak lenses. I was looking at a Sigma lens actually. Just slightly off topic. For my EF mount, the 18 to 35mm f1.8 Sigma Art, the god tier lens, as people will put it, for YouTubers. Guess how much it costs?
How much?
€750 used.
Ooh, jeez, that gave me a heart attack.
My camera kit alone is worth almost that combined. So I'd be spending all that on one lens. And I don't even know if I want to stick to Canon anymore. So that's an issue.
Wow. Damn.
Yeah.
When it comes to cameras, what do you recommend?
So it depends on what you're looking for. What would you be looking for out of a camera?
I
What would you
mean,
want to do with it? And what's your budget?
that's a good question.
That's the first thing I ask people.
I would love to do like videos and streams with it though. That's for sure.
Okay.
I gotta say maybe 200.
Could I interest you in a Canon T5i? Canon Rebel T5i.
For how much?
Those go for around 250 to 200.
Okay.
And they come with a lens, all you need is the cable that's included and the Canon webcam utility, and you're done.
Oh wow.
Yeah, then you can get the image I'm getting out of here.
Wow, that's awesome. That would be. Then people wouldn't unsubscribe to me.
You can also plug in a microphone, and you can do all that. Obviously, more higher budget cameras will have better features, but you don't need them, I don't think.
I'm wondering if people are leaving. Slight joke here, but I'm wondering if people are leaving because I'm actually growing a beard now.
I don't think so.
I'm only playing. But all right, guys. Well, if you guys don't have any more questions or something you guys want to say or ask, we're going to be signing off here. Thank you again, Connor. Really awesome time.
Happy to be here.
To you, and hope to have you again on soon, man. It's been a little bit, so it's always fun talking to you, and hope to talk to you soon, man. Thank you guys for coming on. Thank you guys for participating in the chat. Really awesome to have you guys on, and I will see you guys in the next live stream. Hopefully next week. I will let you guys know for sure. So stay tuned to the social media. If you guys are not following me, then make sure you guys follow me. Make sure, for sure, you're following Connor and subscribing to his channel. He is awesome at what he does. So make sure you guys go check him out. All right, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you guys in the next live stream. Have a great day, guys.